welcome you all to Ascension Earth Network, and this is Pop Radio, or Path of Pono Radio, and I am so excited, and I have my co-host with me. We're actually filming this and doing the radio show at the same time. I'm Shara, this is Daniel and Dale, and we actually are here with Susie Beiler, and Susie is going to be channeling Prime Creator, and we're so excited to have her here today. So I have a series of questions that we're going to ask, but first off I wanted to ask Susie how you got started with your channeling and when this came about, and also what's coming up this month in September that we should all be excited about.
Yeah. So I've been seeing clients for over 10 years, and here and there, while I had clients on my table, I would, sometimes receive messages from them from guides or whatever, and I'd pass on the messages, and that was that. Well, June this year, Max asked me a question. I don't remember even what it was about.
And Max is your beloved.
Max is my beloved. And
just to clarify.
He asked me a question, and all this information started to come out of me. Things that I wouldn't necessarily know about. And at the end, we were like, whoa, who was that? And the answer was very clear. It was Prime Creator.
Wow.
And we were both kind of like, wow, thank you.
That is very cool and very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Now you started a series of videos,
yes.
And you have over 10 videos on YouTube. So if you want to watch these videos, I highly recommend watching them because they answer so many questions. Max actually is off camera asking questions, and Prime Creator through Susie is bringing all these beautiful answers forward. And I have to say, after years of spending time reading blogs, listening to channels, reading channels, I am so impressed by the information that's coming through and how clear and a channel that you really are. Because I've actually known Susie since you moved here, I think.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like I really know this girl, and we spend a lot of quality time together having really deep conversations. And so I actually know even the difference between the answers that are coming through her that would not normally be coming through the Susie that we know. Not to put that, we're all very human here, so we don't always know these higher answers. So I know that she's not like faking this or coming up with these answers herself, because believe me, some of these things are so out there that you would really not have any idea how to answer them. And so I was so impressed, and Dale was really impressed, and he's very discerning also as far as tuning into a clear channel, as well as Daniel, and that's why we wanted to invite you on the show.
Thank you, Shara.
And I have to also say that these 10 videos pretty much cover so many beautiful subjects, and we are going to ask a lot of beautiful questions today, but the more basic questions may be found on those 10 videos. So we just want to let you know that if you don't think that your question got answered, you will be able to get your question answered through those videos. And if they wanted to ask any more questions, we can have them email you or email Max, or would that be workable?
General questions are accepted through my website.
Okay.
SusieBeiler.com/contact.
And spell your last name.
Yeah, I'm going to spell the first one too.
Okay.
Susie Beiler, SUSIEBEILER.
Perfect. And on YouTube, you can go to just YouTube and put Susie Beiler Prime Creator, and it will take you right to those videos, and you just go one after another. They're about usually 30 to 40 minutes long, and really awesome to listen to. So,
thank you, Shara.
You're welcome, honey. I'm excited. I'm like, I've always wanted to interview these really famous, amazing people, but like, who's more famous than Prime Creator? And so I also want to ask you about what's going on in this month, September.
Yes.
That we are here. This is September 2nd, so this is an exciting month.
Yes.
So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, there is a lot of information you can find, and I just want to let people know that for the purposes of the purity of my channeling, I haven't tuned into anything else other than what's come through me with Prime Creator, because I don't want my mental consciousness influenced. So this is what has come through Prime Creator through me. Around the equinox, the energies will be way more amped up than they are now. And we don't know the day or the time, but between the equinox and the end of October, a huge wave of love and light will be flooding this planet.
Beautiful.
And when that happens, each soul will transition. And each soul will transition into the dimension that they're meant to for their soul's path, and also dependent on any inner work that they've done this lifetime and other lifetimes.
Wow.
So there are two factors that determine what dimension you go into.
That could be very a huge change for people.
Very big.
Especially if they're not expecting that and they're just starting to wake up. So, and we're going to get into a few of those types of questions about what happens when you make these transitions and what seemingly you're leaving behind, and how that all kind of looks.
Hello, dear ones.
Hello, Prime Creator. Okay, well, I'm going to get started with the questions. And first I'm going to ask, can you explain to our listeners what the significance of the event horizon is this month that we are anticipating?
Dear ones, this is the event that you have been waiting for eons of time. It is very significant in your soul's journey and your soul's evolution. For eons of time, you have prepared yourself for this time and space. For eons of time, you have been doing your inner work. You have been on your soul's journey. Because at this time, when the event unfolds at the end of the month, you will achieve your soul's destiny, so to speak. This is the event that will shift all life everywhere. And as we have conveyed in previous conversations, you know that this is a multiverse event. We now have many universes lined up to support the unfolding events of September. And so this is the time that your souls have longed for. This is the shifting of everything that you have waited for. This is where you now get to enter your heaven.
Okay, the next question I have, wow, I'm just dealing with the first question answer. That's a big answer. First of all, can you explain what Prime Creator is, as opposed to God or Mother, Father, Source? Is it all the same, or is there any kind of separation and delineation in those names?
Yes, dear one. The easiest way to explain this, as I have said before, that Prime Creator is the purest, highest energies of love and light. And so in your understandings, you have given many names: God, Prime Creator, Source, Mother, Father, God. In some ways, dear ones, this is all the same. And what occurs is that you as individuals, according to your perceptions and understandings, have given different names that feel good to you. And this is completely a beautiful thing that you have done for yourselves, to give yourself the experience of, for example, calling me Father God or Mother God. For each being resonates differently to the different names. But the essence is the same. For I am the purest, highest energies of love and light. And that is it, dear ones.
Thank you for that answer. And can you explain the different qualities, or again, the delineation between one's soul, higher self, and oversoul?
Dear ones, again, some of these names you have assigned to your understandings, such as higher self and soul and I am presence. And in some ways, these are the same as they represent the higher aspects of yourself, that soul knowing and wisdom. The oversoul is more of a collective energy, of soul energy. In some ways, dear ones, the oversoul is an even higher aspect of your soul that oversees your soul's path. And so you have your soul, which is part of your being now. And although your soul is, and your soul knows all and is all, the oversoul is a collection of soul energy that oversees the soul's path. That is the best I can do with this channel at this time, dear one.
Okay. And would Sananda be an example of an oversoul for who we knew as Jesus that walked the earth?
No, dear one, this is a different understanding.
Is the new DNA Earth the same as fifth dimensional Earth?
No, dear one. Previous to your knowledge of this timeline and the unfolding of the events in September, you assigned the fifth dimensional Earth as your understanding of your current planet ascending into the fifth dimension. The new DNA Earth is what will take the place, if you will, of your current planet, who will become a star in September with that wave of love and light. So the fifth dimensional Earth is no longer part of any of these timelines. We now refer to the new DNA Earth as the place where many souls will go who are not ready to complete their Earth journey at the time of the unfolding of the events. Many souls will go to the new DNA Earth to continue their earthly journey, so to speak.
Will there be a combination of three-dimensional energies and, say, a higher fifth-dimensional energy on new DNA Earth?
Dear ones, your concepts of third dimension and fifth dimension will shift after the event of September. And so what I will say is that there will not be the third dimensional energies on the new DNA Earth, in the sense that because the new DNA Earth will be of a higher vibration and frequency, your current experience of third dimensionality will not be able to be sustained on the new DNA Earth. So the new DNA Earth will not necessarily have a fifth dimensional consciousness. It is its own entity in a brand new universe.
Will there be some of us going to a fifth dimensional ascended Earth as well?
No, dear ones, there will be those going to the fifth dimension, but it will not be planet Earth.
Are you the only prime creator, or are there other prime creators of other universes?
Yes, dear ones. So in the understanding that Prime Creator is the highest energies of love and light, I could say, yes, I am the only Prime Creator. And in the understanding that there are many universes with leadership from Prime Creator, you could say, I am not the only Prime Creator. It is a concept that is limiting by the understandings of your language. Would you like to ask a clarifying question about this, dear one?
Yes, actually that was my next question. Is Prime Creator like a post or job title? And we've heard that like the different Kumaras may take on the role of Father God, like Sanat Kumara might have been Father God of the Milky Way galaxy, and now he may be a god of a new universe. One, is that true, and is that a way of understanding this?
Again, these are concepts that in your limited mental consciousness and current understanding, you have attempted to assign meanings and understandings to the limited information that you are able to receive. And I wish to clarify that when I say limited, I am not calling you limited. I am just understanding your experience in these moments as limited, because in truth you are unlimited beings, dear ones. There is a hierarchy, as we have conversed about this before. And so what you are understanding is this hierarchy. You use the example of the Kumaras and the leadership roles they have taken. So yes, there is some truth to what you have asked, because they have stepped up to other levels of leadership, if you will. Again, remembering that all is one and there is no greater or lesser. But for our understanding, we use these words. There are many leaders throughout the many universes, and each soul is always evolving. And so, for the example of Sanat Kumara, his soul also continues to evolve as he continues to take on new roles.
Do you have parents? Were you birthed into creation?
Dear one, I have always been, and I always shall be. The experience that you have of being parented was not my experience.
So did you wake up with full consciousness?
I have always been awake, dear one.
So there was no waking up. Okay. Is there anything more that you want to say on that?
I have always been the highest vibration of love and light, dear one. There is no other way to say this.
Okay. Now, does the soul exist in all dimensions at once?
Yes, in some ways. The soul is in existence in every dimension. However, there are, according to your soul path, there are certain dimensions that you have more awareness of as you progress on your soul journey. And this is a beautiful example of what will happen with the shift at the end of this month. Currently, your soul has a deep, vast awareness of this third dimension on planet Earth. At the shift, your souls will then shift your awareness into your respective dimensions. And so while a part of your soul will still be on the new DNA Earth, your awareness will specifically be in the dimension into which each of you are transitioning.
Okay, if we as multidimensional beings exist in all dimensions, as you've kind of said here, as this stream of consciousness, our 3D self, moves into the new DNA Earth, will there still be a 3D stream of consciousness continuing to have a 3D life experience?
No, dear ones, for your souls have been complete with this experience. Now, some souls going on to the new DNA Earth will have, for a period of time, what appears to be a third dimensional experience because of the mental consciousness that they carry. However, in truth, they are transitioning into a different consciousness with the new DNA Earth. And so any experience that they have that resembles a third dimensional experience or feels like heaviness is from their mental consciousness.
And if this 3D Earth is becoming a star, will there be those souls who want to remain in a 3D experience, and will they be placed in a duplicate 3D Earth hologram?
No, dear one, for the 3D experience is now complete within each soul. What will occur as a possibility is those souls who wish to continue working with density will go into dimensions of heaviness and density. But it will be unlike their current third dimensional experience.
Okay. So they're not just going to have a normal 3D life, but the veiled illusion of being seemingly in another Earth.
This time is rapidly coming to completion, dear one.
Okay. And for those who are ascending to new DNA Earth, will they wake up and still be in their same home, but with new colors, energies, etc.? And will it look the same outside with their neighbors, and or are they going to see things differently?
Each soul, depending on where they are at in their awakening process, will have a different experience. And so some souls will transition to the new DNA Earth having a very similar experience to their current reality. And some souls will indeed see new colors, feel new sensations, have new understandings. For as we have conversed before, there will be a higher frequency on this new DNA Earth that will hold the container for the awakening of those who transition there. And so some will wake up very quickly, and some will take more time according to what they choose to hold on to and what they choose to release, how they choose to awaken in their process.
Now, if people go to higher dimensions than the new DNA Earth, will they just disappear? And if they disappear, won't their families maybe call the police or want to find out where they are, and there all of a sudden will be missing persons reports all over the world?
This is a possibility, dear one. Yes, this is why I have such gratitude for this channel, as she has agreed to put this information on video for the entire world to access, so that this information may be accessed after the event, and those who choose to receive the information shall have a deeper understanding of what has occurred. Dear ones, some will disappear, dematerialize, as we have used that word. And for those who have no understanding of what has occurred, yes, they may feel fear, and their mental consciousness may want to continue to stay wired to fear. However, there are miracles unfolding in this unfolding of these events, and so very quickly those souls that are staying on the new DNA Earth will begin to understand what has occurred. And in some cases, those who have dematerialized will be able to come in and out of material form to explain to their loved ones what has occurred. This is not the case for all, but for some, this will be allowed, and this will be part of their soul path.
So there may be people who have go through some upset if maybe their partner or beloved ascend to another dimension and they seemingly get left behind on new DNA Earth. Could this be one of the things that does occur?
Yes, dear one. Each soul has their own path, and they have their own emotions to work out as they traverse their journey. So yes, this is a possibility.
Okay. If our awareness of self exists in all dimensions, can we exist outside of Prime Creator's conscious awareness?
No, dear one. For I know all, I see all, I am all.
So in essence, we really can't really expand beyond the existing all that is?
No, dear one, but you can add to it in a sense. So, with your embodiment of love and light, and as you dematerialize for those who are doing so, you will be in your light body, accessing even more love and light. As you evolve and expand, you are contributing to the all.
So we have heard that we are going to first have the revalue of the currencies, the global currency reset, if you will, and prosperity to help humanity release the survival energies and lack consciousness. Then new governance, then mentors, and galactic disclosure. And then crystal light chambers to heal our bodies and raise our vibration. And then we can return to full consciousness. So is this still the divine plan? And if so, how does this new Ascension timeline in September affect that other timeline?
And so, dear ones, many messages have come through many channels bringing you this information. And because many channels have been bringing in this information, there are many timelines associated with each piece of information. And so some indeed will experience it this way, and some whose soul's path is different will experience things in a different timeline or a different order as you would understand it.
Is there anything else you want to share with any other listening audience out there for the mass collective?
Yes, dear one. Dear ones, I come for you today. I come to you, I come with you, I come for you, asking you to awaken your hearts. And dear ones, you need not know or understand what this means. I simply ask that you receive the energies of this invitation. I ask of you to awaken your hearts, to open the gateways of your soul, so that you may feel, sense, know who I am. So that you may feel, sense, know who you are. For beloveds, we are the same. Dear ones, I call you forth. Each soul, I call you forth, for now is the time. Now is the time for you to embrace the fullness of your love and light. In dealing with timelines and linear time, there is precious little time for you to ready yourself for this transition. And if you are hearing this message after the transition, you know that you have made it through safely and all is well. If you are hearing this message before the transition, there is still much that you may choose to do or not. It is up to you, dear ones. For those of you who love to take action, I invite you to take time each day to spend with me. However it feels good for you, whether it be in nature or with good company, whether it be using sound and toning. You know what you love. Engage with those energies, because this assists you in raising your frequencies. And the more your frequencies are aligned with your soul path, the more graceful your transition will be. Please understand, dear ones, that your souls are going into your heavens, and I speak to the light workers at this point, for indeed some have chosen to go to lower densities. And so there is nothing to fear if you choose not to do anything during this month. There is never anything to fear, dear ones. However, some of you will feel better in these last days if you choose to engage with the energies that you love and that bring you joy. And that is more of the purpose of anything. Dear ones, you have a few days in this experience. Make the most of it. Spend time with the ones that you love. I love you dearly, each and every soul. I hold you in the palm of my hand.
Before you leave us, I realized there was one more question that one of our listeners asked. Is there any need to use pendulums or muscle testing or any dowsing or instrument to get answers at this time?
Dear ones, there is no need for this. However, if it is of assistance to you, you may continue to engage with these technologies. Dear ones, you already know all that you need to know. All the answers are already encoded into your soul and accessible through your hearts. However, for some, I do understand that these technologies provide great assistance, and so they may still be used if you choose to do so.
Thank you.
Yes, dear ones. I love you.
We love you, Prime Creator.
Forever and always I have loved you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for listening, everyone. And Susie's going to be returning to us now. Do you need some water? Is one of these rooms? Oh, there you go. Okay, so, wow, I just want to say that my heart was pounding out of my chest, and the energy was really amazing and beautiful, and I got a little verklempt and emotional. It was quite almost overwhelming. Yeah, that would be a good word.
It's an infusion.
Yeah. An activation.
That too.
And initiation, all of the above.
And you're sitting super close to me.
I know,
That was
right?
pretty brave. You wanted it. You wanted it.
I wanted it all in here. So you guys want to come a little closer? We could have a little conversation and discussion about some of these topics that we brought up and asked about. So, Daniel, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, Prime Creator answered the question that I was getting ready to ask, and that was, what can we do to accelerate or strengthen our ascension process? But right when I was thinking about answering it.
And that is, and I don't remember what video, but that was answered in a video also. Yeah, so that information is available for people who want it.
And the basic answer is raise your vibration, stay out in nature, do what brings you joy, you know, all of the...
That's the essence.
That's the essence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you feel about feeling the energy coming through? Did you, Daniel, have any...
No, it's just super clear. I mean, great answers. I don't think, you guys are very evolved people, but I don't think anyone could come up with that clear answers.
No. And we try to stump Prime Creator.
That was great. There's some pretty deep questions in there. And it's all about, like, the theme was kind of about us putting names and putting things in a box. Mm-hmm. And Prime Creator was just saying, you guys, that's what you do.
Yes.
And that's okay. Whatever kind of makes you feel better about using those ideas and those names, but it was beautiful.
That's actually come through with a lot of the questions that we ask. He often says, this is a name that you have assigned to this concept because of your limited understanding,
right,
that you currently have. You give names and assign names to things, but there's much, much more out there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So as a channel, when this comes through, like, I'm feeling some of the other stuff that's out there, but because my mental consciousness is limited,
so
I don't even know how to translate that.
Right.
Because it's so big and vast, and it's like, wow, that's going to be so much fun to experience that and to have more understanding of all of this. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, for my dad, who might be listening later, because he said he usually listens at 4 o'clock in the morning, That's when he wakes up. So
Good time.
he wanted to know, did I put Prime Creator in a hot seat through you? Did you feel like, as the channel, do you feel like you are basically being, put on that spot kind of feeling?
If I have that feeling, that's me. That's not Prime Creator.
Did you feel that?
No, because I don't go there. I don't go there, or else I constrict the energy. If I have that,
Right.
I can't do that, or the energy constricts. I don't want to constrict the energy that way.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're expressing it that way,
Yeah.
because you're the one feeling the energy, so I can't.
Prime Creator can't be on the hot seat. Like, that's impossible.
I
It's
tried to
only-
tell him that.
It's only me, potentially, if I would put myself in that position.
Right.
But I don't engage with it that way.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Prime Creator, I feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's
make
not
sense.
Prime Creator then.
Yeah, exactly. That's me.
No, I just thought it was very clear, and obviously the language can be really restrictive and limiting. So answering some of these questions, like you said, it's really hard to take all that broad spectrum of information and energy and funnel it through this human body. So I can understand that, and then we want linear answers to these abstract and non-linear type of questions. So especially when we think there's a beginning and there's an end, and there's always was and always will be, we can't compute that. So, and I understand that. So I thought it was beautiful.
We just thought you were going to have what is the smoke coming out of your ears?
You've seen the videos.
I was kidding.
I haven't had any smoke come out of my ears yet. But there have been times.
This does not compute.
There have been times after the channelings where I'm just lying there like, whoa, I need some time to integrate the energies, because that's what happens for me is I feel all of this energy, and I feel very blessed to have this opportunity, because I actually integrate some of the energies that come through, and it very much assists me.
Definitely.
And I wonder, does it translate over a radio show? I'd be very curious for the feedback that we get from this. Do people feel the energies that come through? Because forget all of the answers. What's more important, from what I'm gathering from what he said, is that the energy is more important. The transmissions that come through these channelings are more important for all of us. I'm wondering, you guys listening to this, are you feeling the energy that has come through?
And even if you're not feeling it, know that you're receiving some type of transmission, some type of activation, an initiation, a wake up, or planting seeds. That's what we're doing this radio show for, is to plant seeds, to open up your mind, to have you think out of the 3D box. And we hardly talk about 3D, we're always talking about other dimensions.
And what she said, I think we say that too, even with our clients. It's like, it's not so much the words that you speak, it's the energy behind it. Because you can say the same word, but have different energy behind it, have a totally different meaning. So I totally get what you're saying. It totally makes sense.
Absolutely.
Or Prime Creator, was he said.
Yeah.
Right.
What he said.
And
What he said.
And actually, we have Max here too. Max, do you want to share anything, or come closer to the mic?
It's been great from my perspective, because I have such a different path and understanding. I've been coming into it, I was very materialistic, oriented, very logical, and so I reference and check everything, through different channelers, through different global trends and activities, through a lot of different things, and it's all in alignment with all the stuff that's coming through. And so it's very much affirming from that perspective, and then my own personal experiences with dream states and different vision states that I've had as well.
And tell them what you feel when
whenever,
Prime Creator comes through.
The channeling, I get really warm when the channeling is going on, and I'm open to that receiving transmission. And also my body slightly rocks forward and backwards, and my heart pulses a little stronger. Yeah, so it's pretty consistent with that experience and integrating the transmissions.
So Max does all the questions on the videos that Susie did, and Prime Creator does, But it's great to hear that you are the one exposing yourself to all of the blogs and other channelings, because Susie doesn't, because you don't want to kind of mix your energies with those other belief systems, ideologies, timelines, and it just, you want to keep as clear as possible. But it's actually really cool that you are exposing yourself to all that, which helps you even come up with questions to be more clear about what's going on.
That's how I got such a large variety and range of questions, and how I also have a lot of perspective on where each person is coming from with their viewpoint and with their narrative that they're engaged in. So this is
awesome.
A lot. Yeah.
And actually, I just heard another timeline, Cobra. I don't know, guys, if you've heard of Cobra. I think he's like 2012. Portal.
I have heard that name.
Yeah,
He talks about the event,
talks about the event.
and he thinks it's more like later, not this September.
Well,
But
and that's a
again,
different process, a different path, because it's infinite. I always say never sell infinity short.
That's great. Never sell infinity short.
Because it's no longer what is possible, but what is relevant to your
Right.
path.
Exactly. And also, I think timelines is a good conversation, because a lot of people that are listening don't even know what we're talking about with timelines. It's like, what are you talking about, timelines? We are creating our reality. And if we're creating our reality, then if you believe it, it will be done unto you on some level. Yes, you have your soul path, and you have some level of destiny with your soul path, but you're creating it as a co-creator. So actually the question I think we forgot to ask is the Prime Creator planting this seed of this timeline to create this timeline? Like, is it helpful for us all to come together to,
I do believe the answer to that is yes, because in one of our initial channelings that we didn't video, he specifically asked Max if he would assist in holding the timeline for September.
Oh, wow. So that's how powerful we are, that we are actually helping create the timeline. Because I know other channels have said that after the fact, like we all thought maybe that 2012, the Mayan calendar, the 20...
We asked about that.
Oh, really? What was the answer about?
It was that within particular timelines with particular souls, they did transition, and it was maybe a small number, but there were people that dematerialized then. But because we're not in that timeline, we didn't experience that.
Okay.
So that's the sort of the catch-22. If you're not in the timeline, you don't experience that timeline has happened.
Got it. So just to be, and maybe you guys can help me with this, for our listening audience, how would you describe multiple timelines to the average person listening on the street? It's like, okay, so we have a stream of consciousness. We're creating that stream of consciousness with certain belief systems, thoughts, emotions. That's how we create reality, through those things: thoughts, emotions, beliefs.
You answer it.
Come close, because I want to make sure you get this in here. We're doing a little shuffle here. All right, Max, answer that question.
Wait, what was the finish of that question?
Okay, so basically, how would you explain different timelines for the average person who's thinking, wait a minute, aren't we all living at the same time, at the same place, the same, that kind of thing?
So you're having a linear experience, moment by moment, and you're always present, and you can obviously shift forward and backward in memory or projection of the future. And in that, experiencing moment to moment, you have the entire universe you experience, and that is for your perception, your soul, your path. Other souls do not share that identical outward experience, right? And so you can have moments that you share together, but in the overall continued experience of each individual perception, it is not exactly the same. And so that's where it's kind of trippy, because you're interacting with these people and seemingly they must have the same outward experiences, but then there's oddities that you talk to people about with different global events. This has occurred where different global events have occurred differently for different people.
Right.
And so they're like
one atomic bomb instead of two.
So they're referencing large historical events that were different in their timeline, and they don't understand why it's different now, and they're like, oh, you must have remembered that improperly. But it's because you're able to shift timelines.
Oh, wow.
And so you retroactively change the evidence of history. That's why it's so complicated in a linear experience. to try and physically prove it, because your proof disappears. Because it's the function of the timeline.
Right. Okay. I'm taking that one to myself.
That just gives more power. Obviously, we're creating our reality. So whether it's multiple realities, infinite number of realities. So we have intersections where we have these encounters with the people on this, as you could say, a intersection of their two timelines. I don't know if you want to say it that way or what, and have an interaction. But yeah, like you said, they could experience these global events differently, because their consciousness, their level of vibration or frequency is different than the other, and their path is different. So it makes sense, but I think for the linear thinking, it's like, well, don't we all have the same reality? I mean, we're all here on Earth. Will we experience the same thing? Isn't there a consensus timeline?
There is and there isn't. Like, even living in Sedona, we are living in a bubble of higher consciousness, more unity, more love, more 5D, fifth dimension, you could say. And you go outside of Sedona bubble, and people, like, if we just actually had a client say to us when he came here from Nashville, and he went to a coffee house here, and somebody said, "Oh, you're such a great soul." And he said, if that would have been said in Nashville, people would look at you so weird. And I'm like, really? Just that simple little statement that you're a really good soul? I mean, but that's how different our thinking is here. I mean, honestly, if people are listening all over the country and the world, and they're hearing about timelines, they're hearing about new DNA, Earth, I mean, even that to most people is like, are you guys nuts? So in their timeline, in their way of thinking, this doesn't exist for them at all. Like, we believe in things like mermaids and angels and fairies.
But that's one of the things that's come through the channelings, is that everyone will experience this shift, and it will be profound.
And it will be different for each person.
And they'll each have a different experience, but everyone will experience it.
Which is fun.
So
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, everyone will have their own wake-up call, in a sense, right? So not everybody, I mean, you're not going to sleep through this one.
Right.
We've slept through some of it.
Well, it might happen while we're sleeping, but we're not going to sleep through it in the way she's talking about it.
Well, I can't wait to get on the phone afterwards. Like, did you feel that? Was that an earthquake? What was that?
I would love to give a fun example of the timeline thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Max and I have this mutual friend who had a white pickup truck, and we pulled up to the place where she was staying, and there was her white pickup truck. And we met her a week or so later, and we pull up, and she's there with this silver pickup truck. And I look at Max, I'm like, I thought her truck was white. And he was like, it was. In a different timeline. It was really trippy.
What's more intriguing to that story is our friend is very intuitive, and we have multiple intuitive friends, and they could actually sense the other timeline version of her next to her.
Now, did you ever ask her, wasn't your truck white?
Yeah,
Right,
did we say something?
She said, "Oh, I always wanted a white truck."
Oh, wow.
And we're like,
wow.
"We had one."
We saw it. We saw it. It was white.
Wow, I think I've actually had that experience, but I didn't know I was having that experience. Like, you're like, I must have just remembered it wrong.
Because because the evidence is to the timeline, and if you're not in the timeline, the evidence is different.
Wow.
Well, you can also have bleed through from the other timeline, can't you? I mean,
Yeah,
it is a possibility as its own timeline. Do you see? Yes.
I think are we confusing the hell out of it?
Never sell infinity short.
That's now we have 5 minutes left. Would anyone like to ask another type of question or throw another mind-boggling concept out
I was
there?
just thinking about what Dale said about why isn't it that if everybody's on the same timeline, why aren't they having the same experience? But it seems like that we tend to think of experiences of having this one flat frequency, this one flat vibration, but it would seem like that every experience that we have has multiple vibrations and frequencies, and so that whatever we're vibrating at, we catch on to that, we attract that to us. So even though we're on the same timeline, we get a different experience depending on what we're in tune with. Does that sound like?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times I call it popping out of our hologram. Like when you're starting to kind of vibrate at a higher frequency, you notice that people start not showing up in your life. or you just don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
Like even living here, like all of a sudden I don't see somebody for a while, and then they pop back in sometimes.
We did that.
Yeah, you didn't
that's
see
right,
her for
you did.
months.
Yeah.
We found her on the trail in Boynton Canyon with her didgeridoo. And it was so funny. You're walking up to us. I'm like, what is that big stick? And who is that? Who is this big stick? I'm like, oh my God, it's a didge. Oh my God, it's Susie with the didge. That's didgeridoo, by the way. You didn't know. And I want to give you kudos. I think you're one of the best female didge players I have ever listened to. And there aren't that many that I have seen. Daniel, you agree. Daniel's a didge player and a didge maker. He's been making didges, and you've been making didges.
I have one.
You made it your
It's
own
for
didge.
sale.
Well, yeah, so, and you're on Facebook, right?
I'm on Facebook.
So find her on Facebook if you want to befriend her. This is the kind of conversations, you guys, that we always have sitting around in Sedona. So if you wonder what we do, and what we talk about, honestly, this is kind of what we talk about. That's why we wanted to do the radio show, to invite you guys into these really eye-opening, enlightening, mind-expanding, mind-blowing conversations. And Dale, you're chomping.
No, I was just going to say that knowing Susie for over a year and a half now, when we first met her, and we had some good experiences, several experiences with her, and my feeling about who you were and where you were vibrating at totally shifted this last time when we met you with you and Max. It's like, wow, she's really gone through a transformation.
I've been jumping timelines, baby.
Yeah, and when you
Hey, so have we.
I guess.
yeah, so have we
all
exactly.
acts together
We're
again, right?
meeting at a certain vibration, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really noticed
Thank
that shift, and I really felt very comfortable and very, not that you weren't before, not that I wasn't feeling that.
It's
gentleness.
different.
It was different. Yeah,
It's
I know
different.
that really. I was talking
Yeah.
to Shara afterwards, and I mentioned that. Wow,
Yes,
she
you
had
did.
really shifted.
There's more divine feminine.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. That's a good way of
Yeah.
qualifying it. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
the confidence level and the peace that was within you was emanating.
Yeah.
It was like you just had this new certainty, this new confidence, this new peace that was emanating, and you still do. You're emanating all over the place with her sparkle.
We like to
eyes,
call it radiating.
radiating.
Losing.
Well, this has been the best hour. I'm so thrilled that we got to do this, and I'm so thrilled that you came over. And she lives right around the corner. I mean, how cool is that?
Thanks for having me. It's been so much
and
fun.
thank you, Prime Creator.
Thank you, Prime
Yes.
Creator.